Greetings to all.
Greetings.
As I listened to the songs that were played this morning and a meditation, the readings, what if, I thought how appropriate it is to boost our message, embracing Christhood through individualization. Dr. Holmes mentioned individualization or made 3 references in our textbook to individualization. And we don't hear that word much, because individualization is a noun for individual. Individual is defined as the inability to be divided. We are one. The law of individual rises out of the law of vibration and the law of attraction, which are the major laws governing planet Earth, according to mystics. Humans are threefold in nature: spirit, soul, and body, in which to express the God within. As spirit, we receive inspiration and guidance. In the soul, we find a perfect law of life. And through the body, we prove that we are the individualization of the indivisible principle. The spirit fires the soul with the energy that we need as individuals. And the soul, which is the subjective mentality, or what we know as feeling, images, and thoughts, vitalizes the body and animates all that we do. Conclusion: individualization is the use we make of our understanding of our feeling, images, and thoughts as individuals. We simply complicate the process. Great mystics have taught that we are conscious, as we consciously enter in the one enters and becomes us. Therefore, the law of individualization provides us the opportunity to express qualities of God as God in the physical plane. That was our purpose. Humanity has gone the length to see ourselves separated from each other in life. As light workers, we know we can't be divided, as the spark of God is in each cell in our body and in all forms. Hence, God in, through, and around everything and everyone. Dr. Holmes wrote about one reference to individualization on page 313.3, and I read, in other words, the cosmic order is the divine mind. The universe in which we live is a spiritual system. We are spiritual beings, but we do not know it. I repeat, we are spiritual beings, but we do not know it. And in our ignorance, we misuse our divinity without changing or destroying it. We can never change reality. We cannot destroy it or break it, but we can place ourselves in its laws in such a position that it appears limited and unhappy, and even appear to die, in the quote. Because we have free will, we can choose to abide by universal law or not. As light workers, we choose to live our life by universal law, therefore, thereby bringing forth our potentials for greatness from our individualization, our inability to be divided. The world is not changing. The world is in change. That means we are in change. We have shared how to live in change throughout this entire year. Practice of concepts shared brings you to your individual purpose, to make your individualization, to make use of your individualization, that part of you that is complete, perfect, and whole. We have repeatedly affirmed our intention to tap into individualization through our spiritual practice. We're now in the process of making those affirmations real and just demonstrable in our daily life. Further Aglow theme, experiencing Christhood through oneness, keeps in the forefront of our minds our mission. Experiencing Christhood through individualization is just another concept we can begin to practice putting on the Christhood, or of the way, the man Jesus who brought the consciousness or the energy of the Christ to the earth to help us to begin thinking from the God within. Further, Dr. Holmes wrote on the same page, we are therefore members of the universe, and being members of that part, which unites everything, we are some part of each other. The difference is our individualization, what we do with our personality, what we do with our feelings, our images, and our thoughts. He said the highest mental practice is to listen to the inner voice and to declare its presence. The greater a man's consciousness of this indwelling presence, the more fully he will live. Remember, he said, consciousness is an accumulation of every action, feeling, and thought, image in which you have ever entertained. So we ask, what have you done to change your personality, to activate your individualization? I will tell you, you've been practicing putting forth effort for the past 20 years or so to prepare you to utilize your individualization at this time. You have stayed the course in repeating affirmations, practicing spiritual practices and activities, being aware of your thoughts and changing them when they were not what you wanted to demonstrate. You paid for classes and workshops to increase your knowledge of you as an individual. You have earned the right to be here at this time. You have earned the right to be here at this time because you are needed to help to continue to raise the consciousness of humanity through your individualization. Last year, All Lives Matter was the big word in news. All lives matter because the universe is dependent upon every life on earth to bring it into that shift, into the new energy of love. And I've discovered that many of the old tools I used before the change in 2020 are no longer useful. And if you find it difficult to change, and most humans do, start with little things by letting go of things you are not using in your home. Clean the closets, let go of the old. And when you do, you open to new ideas you would not have received because of the old tools. And let us look at 3 concepts to contemplate for expansion of our individualization or our individual, that part of us that cannot be divided. And the first is choice. As the perfect human being, you are the spark of God that chose to be who you are as an individual. I repeat, as a perfect human being that you are, as the spark of God, you chose to be who you are as an individual. You chose to allow God to express through you, through your attributes, skills, and talents. You selected to express the 7 ups as the human being, as a spiritual being. In other words, you chose to express love, joy, peace, wisdom, beauty, life, and power in your daily activities to bring forth your magnificence, the magnificence of the human being that you are. The problem came when we forgot who we are and elected to express what the world told us to express. Now is the time that we must change that or continue to express the same fits, feeling, images, and thoughts we've always experienced. It is now time that we live in the now, not live in the past experiences. Now is no way other. As human beings, we have been given universal law to navigate our earth journey. It is mandate that we live by law. Reverend Antoinette said, when she says the word now, it is her reminder that there is no other way she can live outside universal law. These are exciting times, and we can change the past experiences only of our feelings, our images, and thoughts, and create a new world for ourselves out of love, to move back into our purpose of our expansion of our individualization. Many of us want things to be the way they were instead of looking back to the past to gain wisdom. We choose to live in the past. As an example, I was in the grocery store a couple of days ago and I was making small talk with a fellow shopper. And in our conversation, I said, these are exciting times we live in. And she said, I wish it was 1996 again. And I thought to myself, how many of our sisters and brothers are wishing for the past years, past experiences, old ideas, old way of being. And I said to her, those times are gone. We're in for new times. And as I drove home, I was reflecting on our conversation and remembered reading how we tried to hang on to the past when automobiles replaced the horse and buggy. And during my time, how the buses replaced the streetcars. Just contemplating how we fight change, reluctant to give up the past for something new. Dr. Holmes wrote on page 344:1, and I read, the great mystics, while sensing the unity of all life, the universality of all things, have also sensed the individualization of the human being and the individualization of humankind as a divine reality. He wrote, in other words, Tagore, and seeking to explain this, says that the individual is immersed in, but not lost in, nirvana. And he uses the illusion as an error is lost in the mark, still remaining an error. I understand this to mean the more I practice my choice to express the God within me, the more fully I will live, not getting caught up in the illusions or shadows of my feeling, images, and thoughts of work, strain, struggle, and stress. I don't give in to what I see or what I think I think. What do you think about when you're not meditating? Whatever you put into consciousness comes out. Our second idea is effort. Effort is your motivation to continue your spiritual practices. Effort includes application, and application is defined as taking action upon an idea or project. To put forth effort requires that we make a commitment to walk our talk. The talk of the affirmations we have been repeating for the past 20 years or so. As humans, we look at effort as work, strain, struggle, stress, and try. And since the word try is a household word, we say we try. Does that mean we're putting forth effort? Life is simple. We share. The only effort we need is to be aware of our feelings, our images, and our thoughts, or our fits, as I call them, to expand our individualization, to expand that spark of God within us, to accept the feeling, images, and thoughts for transformation into love. The process begins, and the key is accepting the feeling, images, and thoughts. We no longer need to expand our individualization. Our third concept and last is you are unique. This means there is no other individual spark of God on the planet like you. Your fingerprints shows that. You are one of a kind. And why we as humans try to be like others is beyond me. With this knowledge, knowing that there is only one of us on the planet. Think of what you have to offer to the world. Even a smile counts. When you acknowledge your strength, your weaknesses will disappear. Focus on your strength. Do what you have always wanted to do. Ask yourself, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I am to do now? And you may not get an answer immediately. Then just do what is in front of you. Do the material things you have to do for daily living. Many times we think we need to be doing when we just simply need to be. We have been conditioned not to be. We as individuals must develop the muscle for being. And we do that when we contemplate ideas, observe our surroundings, be in nature, to name a few ways we can begin. We overlook our uniqueness by not recognizing the good we do for ourselves and others. How often do you praise yourself? How often do you tell yourself you love yourself? You take into account all the many employment positions you have held, how many things that you can do on the physical plane. We forget too quickly how unique we are and our contributions to humanity. In closing, to embrace Christhood through individualization is to live by the choice we made to live by universal law, which is the law of love. We make the effort daily to do some form of spiritual practice. And lastly, remember, no one on the planet can do what you have chosen to do like you can do it, to express the God within you. Let us pray, giving thanks for each individual message and seeing this, the essence of this message seeping into each heart to motivate and to propel us into our choice of living as magnificent spiritual beings on this planet and spreading our light, shining our light wherever we go. And as you leave this place in consciousness and go out into the marketplace, you are divinely guided. You are divinely protected until we meet again. Divine presence goes before you, making your way perfectly clear. All is well. It is done. So be it.
And so be your takeaway from that powerful message. You know, any epiphanies, any ahas, any, yeah, Reverend Alma, I hear you, but. What is it today? Let's hear from you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Reverend Alma. You're always talking to the individual, and you're talking to me right now. And thank you so much. It's a blessing to hear you give us all this wonderful, wonderful, great, wonderful news. Thank you so much. Love you.
That's what I came for.
Antoinette. Yes.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you. You know, every time you give a talk, Reverend Alma, I said, now she's talking just to me.
Just to me.
You know, really now, I really do. And what one thing, when you talked about individualization, and I just want to say, and I don't know why I think it's significant, and I've been asking, but I go to class with 20-year-olds, and I wore this shirt. And before I left home, it was, they won't even know what this shirt is. They won't, this kind of thing, right? And I got to class, and a young man was wearing the exact same shirt. And that's, what I think is that ego thinking it's only me, and it was just like one mind showing up that,
Mm-hmm.
And there is no separation, no matter how I try to invent it. But thank you, Reverend Alma, so much.
My privilege. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend Alma. You were speaking to me this morning only. Oh God, I've been working on this for the last week, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for reaffirming what I'm doing, that I'm on the right track. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
The song, you're closer than you think.
Oh, I'm closer than I think.
Now, you see what I concluded that when I was on the spiritual path, I was looking to experience what other people said they were experiencing. And I was always looking outside of myself as how I was supposed to feel, because they told me how I was supposed to feel.
Mhm.
And when I made the shift in consciousness to listen to the God within me, then ideas began to come to me. There's no other one like you. And there's no one pill for everybody on the planet. Each is individual. Each has its own journey. And for some of us, it may seem like it's difficult because it's different. And that's where we are closer. That's where we know that we are getting closer. I was told by a minister once, the more you worry, the more you struggle, the more you strain, you're only climbing the mountain to reach the top. He said, don't stop. Stop worrying and go into faith. See at the top of that mountain what you want, and you can scale it.
Wow, that is powerful, Reverend Alma. And just want to endorse what Minister Pema just said. It's like, you know, she's in a position of leadership, as so am I and so are you. And it seems like, yes, there should be a norm which we should be acquiescing to. And it doesn't look like that. And we kind of pull back and, you know, entertain some amount of doubt, you know, and it's not. It's never until we realize that, listen, my fingerprint is different from yours. So guess what? Yes, we're on individual journey, but we're still in that oneness category, as Carolyn was so beautifully you know, expounding on just now. It's like, yes, we're one, but we're individual. It's kind of a little bit, takes a little bit of wrapping around your head to grasp. But yeah,
If you listen to that the elements, the inspirational elements, what if you believe? What if you could demonstrate everything you believed? What a mess we'd be in. Demonstrate everything that we believe, that we think. Let's say that we think we believe. But we want to get to the place where we can demonstrate what we believe, what we know to be true. And that it is, we are individualized center of God consciousness, and that God lives in us, as us, and it moves through us. That's where we want to be. That's the belief we want to hold on to. And we do that through our spiritual practices.
Yeah.
Closer than we think. We're closer than we think. Don't give up. Someone wrote, don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. And we are moving into the place where we can see the miracles, as we call them, in our life, through our change, through our willingness to stay the course.
Yeah. That's another word to the willingness too.
Willingness.
How willing are we? Yes.
Yes.
Looking for any more hands? All right, no more hands for now. Let me ask you a question, Reverend Alma. You said we think we should be thinking from the God within us.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
I have crazy analogies when I listen to people speak, and this is the one that popped into my mind. I'm going to refer to my iPhone. When I use my iPhone, and it says 100% full of energy. I'm so happy because I know it's not going to fail when I send out my messages. And what I wanted to say was how important these groups are to recharge our spiritual batteries, to get our mind empowered with the power of God to keep us sort of safe that day, so we can be perfect communicators for God, and we don't run out of our battery juice, so to speak. We don't run down, because I don't know about anybody else, but some days I just don't have any energy, and I really need a pep talk like this. Put me back in the spirit of regaining my spirit energy. So just thank you very, very much, Alma, Reverend Alma. And I just thought that was what we need to do, is make sure we recharge ourselves every single day, so we're in top-notch condition as the individuals that we are. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the whole idea of people who, there are many, many people, especially since COVID. So many people want us to go back before COVID, want the world to go back to before COVID. We were in a meeting some weeks ago, and one of the members said he wants to go back when he was a child, like 9, 10 years old. You're talking about a 75-year-old person, and the world is in utter chaos. And back when he was a boy, it was beautiful, and he wants to go back there, or else then this world is just doomed as far as he's concerned. So yeah, I understand what that conversation you had with that lady.
Yes, we say we think of the past, but are we thinking of the past, or are we living in the past? Yes, it's nice to go back. Yes, we go back to the old ideas to pull out the light. Visit those old ideas, because everything is changing. We are in the change, and we cannot stop it. It's going to continue. It's going to become more intense. It will become more imperative for us to make the change, to live in change. And that's, we have no option. And that's for all of us.
Yes.
But it's light workers.
Yep.
You have tools. You have, we are told, affirmations would be the best tools you can use during this time to keep you above the mass consciousness. That's where we need to be. That's where we need to stay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And one more thing before we wind on. I was going to ask a question. You mentioned thinking from the God within. However, you had once said we think into mind. Now the question is that the same question? Is that the same way we think? Or if not, what is it? Thinking from the God within and thinking into mind.
Thinking from the God within is thinking from the mind of God. When there's a scripture that says, you open your mouth and I'll speak through you. I'll speak for you. I changed it to I'll speak through you. When you set your intent to live your life according to universal law as the perfect human being, when you open your mouth, you speak from the mind of God. Every word is laced with love. Every word is filled with love, and there is no offense.
Yeah.
there is only one mind. And I see mind to help me to understand my individualization. I see a puzzle as large as the world, and I'm just a little piece of that puzzle. And that piece of puzzle does not fit in any other place but in that one space. That is my uniqueness. That is my individuality. That is the spark of God that says, I must bring all of my images, feelings, and thoughts into light so that I can realize my oneness, my uniqueness, and move back into my choice to express the God within me.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. There's no other questions, comments, or observations. We're going to move ahead. Thank you so much, Reverend Alma, and everyone else who made their contribution to this rich discussion this morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Being immersed in gratitude for the good that we receive through this venue, we gratefully share our money, substance, our time, our efforts to expand our consciousness, to help to heal our life and all life on the planet. We give thanks for this venue as we gratefully share our money substance for its continuation. Blessings for those who bring it forth, Reverend Marcia, Ashley, and those behind the scene. We are grateful. All is well. It is done. So it is.